Bright Cutie. Every student matters.
Hello children, welcome to our session. The topic that we are going to cover today is very important for the formation of fabric, and the topic that we are going to study is spinning. And we will discuss, and before discussing about spinning, we will conduct an activity. In this activity, you will try to make a yarn all by yourself. What you are going to do is you will take small amount of cotton, place it between your hands and try to pull it apart. You will observe that you can see the fibers coming out of it. So these are the fibers. Now you will take these fibers and try to twist it further, and you will gently start pulling out the cotton while continuously twisting the fibers, and this is the way the yarn is formed out of cotton.
Twisting increases the strength of fiber. Material required: cotton.
Procedure.
Hold some cotton in left hand. Pinch it between the thumb and the forefinger of the right hand and gently pull outward, twisting in clockwise direction till you get a wick of about 20 centimeters in length. Divide the wick into two parts. Keep one part of the wick as it is. Twist the other part of the wick as much as you can so as to make a thread. Hold the first part of the wick from both ends and then try to pull it apart. Repeat the procedure with twisted thread. You notice that the twisted thread requires more force to break compared to the untwisted wick. Conclusion: this activity clearly proves that twisting or spinning increases the strength of fiber.
And this process of making yarn from the fibers is known as spinning. So I hope you would have understood the meaning of spinning by doing it yourself. And the purpose of conducting this activity is you can never forget a concept if you have done it by yourself. So this is the process of spinning, and we use certain tools for spinning now. Earlier it was done with hand, but now we have tools for this. Earlier, the first simple tool was Takli, Takli, and it looks something like this. You can observe it from picture, and it is a simple device used for spinning and is a hand. It is also known as a hand spindle. And later, spinning was done using a charkha, and it is a hand operated device for spinning. But nowadays, since we have to do spinning on a large scale, we use powerful machines for spinning. Okay, and we have a significance of this charkha in our history of India, and it was popularized by Mahatma Gandhi, that is the father of nation. He used charkha in the independence movement. He asked the people of India to use more and more cotton products, and he named them as khadi. And for promoting this, there was an organization which was set up, and its name was Khadi, and it was constituted in 1956 for promoting khadi. So this charkha has a really big significance in history of India during independence movement. Yarn to fabric, that is the journey of yarn, that is loose threads, in order to obtain finally the fabric. That is the destination of yarn is to become a fabric. So there are mainly two ways to make fabric out of yarn, and first way is weaving, and the process of arranging two sets of yarn together to make a fabric is known as weaving. It is sort of building up. That is, we are taking two sets of yarn and we are weaving them together in order to obtain a beautiful fabric. For this, we will conduct an activity with the help of different colored paper in order to make this activity a really fun activity. So what you are going to do is you will take two sheets of paper of different color. So you are taking two different colored papers and you will cut out the strips of different colored paper and you will wave them one by one, and you can observe it in this picture that the end product of this activity will look something like this. And earlier this was done by hand, and even today some of the people prefer hand woven products. Then nowadays we also have different machine operated looms for weaving. Earlier only hand looms were available, but now it can be done with the help of machines as well. So the next way of obtaining fabric from yarn is by knitting. And knitting is, again, you might have seen your mothers, your grandmothers knitting sweaters, socks, caps for you, and it is usually a single yarn which is used to make a piece of fabric is known as knitting, and you can observe it from the picture that how knitting can be done. So these are the two ways, that is knitting and weaving are the two processes of making fabric from yarn. I hope you would have understood it really well with the help of the activity. And in this session we are going to discuss about the history of clothing material. And with the beginning of the civilization, when people started settling down, there were no fabrics known to them, and they used the leaves, the twigs that were available next to them. They learned to weave the twigs and the grass into mats and baskets, and also they used these products as the clothing, and they used vines, animal fleece or the animal hair, which they twisted together into long strands, which was later woven into fabrics. Because at that time they did not knew about stitching, they had no needles, and they didn't had the idea that they can actually stitch the clothes in order to cover their bodies. So what happened was they used these twigs, leaves and animal skin as the draping a draping material for their body. That is, they just simply draped the fabrics around their bodies. But later, with the new inventions, needles were developed, they stitched clothes, and now you can see the full-fledged clothing industry that exists around you. And so in this chapter we have discussed about different types of animal and plant fibers, that is natural fibers. Then we had studied about synthetic fibers, and we had studied that cotton rolls, after ginning you obtain the fiber, then fiber after spinning you obtain yarn, then again yarn is converted into fabric, and by which methods? By the methods of knitting and weaving we obtain fabric. So this was all about fiber to fabric. I hope that you would have really understood the concept well, and you will understand even the terms that are given in the chapter like ginning, spinning, yarn, fabric, fiber. And for this I hope you will really enjoy this video. Thank you so much.